Hey Ryan, guess what?
What?
It's another episode of the Middle Ages Comic Hour.
Oh, I thought I was here for something else, but okay. Let's go ahead.
Okay. Okay. Welcome along, guys. This is if you're jumping on now, then maybe you should, maybe listen to the first 10 minutes or so, and then go back to the very first episode where we started reading through the Last Ronin comic series, because this is issue 5, the last one. I can't believe it's the last one. It's been I don't know. It's gone quick.
It definitely has. It's definitely gone a lot quicker than I wanted it to, but not like as I said to you, I'm glad that we did it now and not on the actual release schedule because that would have been terrible.
Yeah, it would have been like months and months and months to get through.
Exactly.
You'd have entire episodes of us just literally sitting there waiting, tapping our fingers. That'd be very interesting. Before we get too far into this, we just want to let you guys know that this isn't the only kind of episode we do. We do our main show with Chris Park. We interview authors and filmmakers on our story chat. So definitely go back through the thread. We've had some wonderful episodes, some wonderful interviews. Check that out. We have a sponsor, Rebecca Castles of the Rising Dawn series, but we mainly advertise her on the other ones because she's an author. Not sure how many comic book fans out there would love to read her style of writing. Not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it's not for everyone. But if you guys want to jump on as a sponsor, if you're a comic book artist, if you're someone comic book related, head on over to buymeacoffee.com/STTATF, link in the show notes. We'd love to have your support. We'd love to advertise whatever it is you are advertising that's comic related. But Ryan, we've got some news that I came across recently. Look, it's basically the headline is Heroes and Monsters Collide in Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong.
Wow. I actually haven't heard of this one before.
So it's they're stealing the TMNT crossover stuff.
Mm.
What's the website? It comes from Cosmic Book News.
Oh yeah, they're a good, very good pop culture comic site. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks weird. To be honest, it looks weird. How do you feel about Wonder Woman and Superman fighting Godzilla?
Well, I mean, it's not really out of their realm. I think it will be okay because it's like by Legendary and DC, and they're both owned by Warner, so they're going to be working together well. But look, I'm down for it. I think, and this is just to clarify, this is based on the movie universe, the Godzilla Kong movie universe. So the whole Monarch movies.
Yep.
As I'm reading it now. So yeah, look, I'm in. I love the Godzilla movie, King of the Monsters, Skull Island. So I'm keen. I mean, if it's half as good as the Ninja Turtle crossovers, then it's going to be good.
Yeah. Well, here's a direct quote from Jim Lee. Have you heard of Jim Lee?
Just a little bit.
Jim Lee, if you're listening, reach out. Do you want to be a sponsor, Jim Lee?
Oh God,
I don't know if I can handle.
That'd really make other Jamie jealous.
I don't know if I could handle that kind of, I'd probably just go quiet and go Jim Lee, and then we'd move on. He says, as a comics fan, there's nothing more fun and exciting than exploring those amazing what if situations that come up when fandom cross streams.
Mm-hmm.
I totally agree. That's like one of the best. I mean, I guess it comes from the who would win in a fight kind of scenarios. Like that's obviously what sparks it.
Oh, definitely. And it looks like it's got pretty much all the main characters. I'm just reading through. So you got Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Green Lantern, 4 of them. Hal Jordan, John Stewart, Jessica Cruz, and Simon Baz. You got Aquaman, Martian Manhunter, Shazam, Supergirl, Hawkgirl type. So you got the usual. You've got obviously Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
Black Manta, Gorilla Grodd. I mean, you would have to have Gorilla Grodd in this, I think, if you were going to have Kong. I'd like to see a Grodd versus Kong. That'd be pretty badass.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so basically, from what I can see here, during a fight between the Justice League and the Legion of Doom,
Yep.
something happens. Like a I don't know if it's a dimensional shift or something like that,
Yeah.
but basically it says the wall between the worlds of breach. With the whole, and then I like you, they said Godzilla, Kong, and the MonsterVerse. So we're not just getting
Yeah.
Godzilla and Kong. We know we're going to get
Yeah.
some of the others as well. They just pop their heads in and say hi, and they all have tea, and I'm sure everything goes. But
Well,
no, look, I'm down for that.
no, look, great art, great art. Yeah, no, I'm down. I might even
Well,
grab a
it's
copy.
written by Brian Buccellato. I can never say his name properly. He's a long-time DC writer, so
Yeah.
he's done things like he's had a run on Superman, Wonder Woman. Like he's written all these most of these characters before.
Yeah.
The art for the cover art at the moment looks amazing. So, and there's a couple of pictures which I'm sure Jamie can find and pop in the notes.
Yeah.
Literally Godzilla, like King Kong's climbing up the Daily Planet building, while being attacked by all the different Green Lanterns, and then you've got
Yeah.
Godzilla doing his thing. So I think it looks pretty damn impressive.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm on board. I'll give it a go for sure.
Definitely. I will put the link in the show note for the
Yeah.
article, but might post some of it on our what do you call it? Our plug Instagram stories_podcast. And
Well,
hey guys, sorry, Ryan.
I was just going to say, while I had it in my head, because I am on pain medication and I tend to forget things. I also started reading another really good Ninja Turtles crossover this week.
Mm-hmm.
It's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Street Fighter.
All right, yeah, I've
Um,
heard about that.
Apparently they're up to the fifth issue out of six. So I started updating my comic collection on my digital comic collection, and I got the Stranger Things 1 and 2 or one
Mm-hmm.
or whatever's out at the moment. Yeah, I saw that one popped up, and I thought, okay, I like the premise. I like Street Fighter. I like Ninja
Yeah,
Turtles. It's pretty damn impressive. So I would recommend it if you like the Ninja Turtles crossovers. The Ninja Turtles and Batman, Ninja Turtles, Stranger Things, those kind of things.
yeah,
Check it out. It's definitely worth a read. It's on the IDW label,
yeah.
so yeah, it's pretty impressive.
And yeah, while we're on talking about updating collections and all that, I did find look, I think it was basically not long after we met. I told you I had the Ultimate Spider-Man Omnibus,
Yes,
Volume
yes,
1, and we could never find Volume 2.
yeah.
Found Volume 2.
Oh, nice.
Haven't bought it yet
Excellent.
because it's damn
Expensive.
expensive. It's
Yeah,
really expensive. But
yeah.
but hey, this week I did almost 60 hours, so maybe I'll get myself a treat.
Where did
Um,
you find it?
it's on Amazon now. Like, so
Okay,
basically, it might be a new release.
I'm just looking it up.
Looking it up. I'm pretty sure. Just Ultimate Spider-Man Omnibus 2, and
Yeah, I just want to know what it contains because oh yeah, it's not cheap. Two hundred
yeah,
bucks. So what does it contain? It contains issues 40 to 71 and Ultimate 6, which is a really good. Um, it's like basically the ultimate version of the Sinister Six. So
oh, don't tell me that.
yeah, no, well that's what it's pretty. And so you've got Spider-Man fighting them, but you've also got Wolverine,
Oh,
um,
stop talking.
Cyclops.
Stop talking. Stop talking or getting out
Um,
my phone, buying. No, no.
because
You're right.
I've read the whole series multiple times, so I can tell you, like, I know exactly,
Yeah,
um, what's involved in this. But yeah, it's a pretty good. It's the lineup of the Sinister Six in this one's a little bit different, but it's still Spider-Man villains, but it's just ones that I don't believe were in the original lineup. So I'm not going to say
yeah.
anything, but it definitely look. It's $200. I get it. But yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, number three.
What?
I found number three.
Oh no.
That's the same price.
Oh gosh.
That's coming out the 19th of December this year. So it's 187 this one.
All right. I'm starting a Kickstarter. You guys can.
Look, if you really want, like I know look, man, if you were more of
No.
a digital guy, I would make you an omnibus in a
Yeah.
digital form, but I
No.
get it. But this one actually takes you up to the end of the first iteration of Ultimate Spider-Man. So it goes from 72 to 111.
Oh. Oh.
Um,
Wow.
and yeah, I just there's a really good arc in this one called Ultimate Warriors. We get I think you really enjoyed the Daredevil in this universe. He's an asshole, a
Yeah.
complete like utter asshole, and he just like tells Spider-Man, he's like, I'm not wasting my time with you. You're like 12. And but this one's also got the Clone Saga, which was great.
All right. Cool.
So
I'll
that's coming.
I'll put it in my shopping list.
Yeah. But
Iron
that
Me.
covers you because then after 111, they started again as Marvel have a habit of doing. They
Right. Yeah.
restarted at issue one,
Yeah.
which went I think for about 40 issues,
Yeah.
and then they brought it back to the original numbering with the Death of Spider-Man at 150.
Yeah.
So and then so if you get those three, you've got the big chunk of the actual story. So
Yeah.
huh.
But you know me. I'm a must own everything. You know.
Well,
Uh,
look it's a fantastic. I never found a low point with that whole
yeah.
series. It's one of my favorite Spider-Man runs. And the good thing about that is the same artist and the same writer were on it for the first 111 issues. So it's Brian Michael Bendis, who's now working for DC, and Mark Bagley. They created it at issue one, and they ended it when just as it got renumbered at 111. So it's the same team, and that's almost a
Oh,
record-setting run since back when Stanley and Jack Kirby first started Marvel.
yeah.
There has never been a team in the recent history that has done that many issues together without any mishaps. So
Yeah.
it's definitely worth it. I'm not gonna lie, if I had the money, I would have it. But I've read it. And I could. It's like I read it every 2 years because it takes me about
2 years.
6 months to read the whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I generally will read the whole Ultimate World. It's when it started, I think in the 90s or the early 2000s, and it was comic book writing at its best. So yeah, definitely worth the money, and you'll reread it. You'll reread it
Yeah.
over and over again.
Yeah.
And knowing you, when you buy comic books, it'll probably appreciate in value 55 times, and it'll probably be worth like 10 grand in 2 years. So
Oh yeah, like my turtles.
yeah,
Yeah. Well, let's annoy you now with some collectible stuff that I tagged you in this morning. So there's this DC Multiverse Batman the Ultimate Movie Collection action figure 6-pack.
well, see, I was really happy until you told me the price. Because I was looking through it, I showed Steph this morning when we were looking through it, and I'm like, look, so it's got everyone. It's even got Clooney.
Yeah,
But
bat nipples.
I was going through it all. I'm like, okay, look, this is pretty. I'm saying, look, it's probably going to be about $150, like. But then, yeah, I asked you how much it was, and then it's like, yeah. I said, my first thing was, I wonder if I can get the NDIS to pay for this in mental health or something like that.
I need Batman to save me, yeah. No, but look, it says it was released as part of the 100 Years of Warner
Yeah.
Brothers series, the Batman.
Yep.
Ultimate Movie Collection, yeah, so it includes you get the movies and you get the action figures that go along with the movies.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
pretty cool. But while we're on that topic of price, and I am no way saying I'm sponsored by this website. I'm okay if they want to sponsor us. But they're called the Big Bad Toy Store.
Okay.
Bigbadtoystore.com. Check them out because I've
I am now.
been getting stuff from them. Their shipping isn't too crazy.
Yeah.
I think it's like $10 to $20 to get it shipped to Australia.
That's not too bad.
But their prices are insane. Like, okay, so the series we're just talking about with all the Batman movies and figures, if you want to get it in Australia, it's $230, not including shipping. Or you can get it for $120 by Big Bad Toy Store, which translates to $188 And
Okay.
even if it costs $20 to get it shipped in, that's still cheaper than getting it from Australia.
Yeah.
No, I've been using them because all these things pop up on Facebook and all these advertisements. Oh, get this really cool Splinter action figure, like
Yeah.
old school, from NECA or something. And you get it to buy it in Australia. It's like $140. And then I go to Big Bad Toy Store and it's like $35 US dollars. You know?
And you know what I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I've just brought up the Batman thing. You know what made me want to get it even more? It's McFarlane Toys.
Oh,
Todd McFarlane of Spawn
yeah.
and writer of Spider-Man and Batman. His action figures are. I don't know if you remember. Do you remember the one that Chris got me a while ago? It was like a knight medieval Batman or
Yep,
something.
yep,
That's
yep.
McFarlane. Like that's how. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, 100%. Look, if they're listening and they want to sponsor us, I will 100% sponsor this because
Yeah, for sure.
it would be a genuine sponsorship because I've been getting stuff from here for about a year, and I keep forgetting about them and then keep going back to them. But 100%, like if you guys are in Australia and you're looking for something that's cheaper than buying it directly from Australia, check out the bigbadtoystore.com.
And
Uh,
just an update on that one. So all the pre-orders are sold out at the moment.
yeah.
It doesn't actually have the movies with it. It's just the figures and a trading card.
Oh, okay.
But you also get a bat signal with it too, which is pretty cool. It looks like the bat signal from the first Batman, the 1989 Batman.
Yep.
But I mean, still, like I wasn't like even before you told me it had the movies, I was like, that's still pretty damn impressive
Yeah.
for $120.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome. So yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah.
favorite this website right now.
Yeah. Bigbadtoystore.com.
Yeah.
Not an official sponsor yet.
Yet. Yet.
Um, but yeah, because things get expensive in Australia.
Oh, definitely.
I almost
Definitely.
thought like maybe I could buy from these guys and do what everyone else is doing, you know,
Resell it.
resell it at a higher price. But no, I'm not that stingy. I'm letting you guys know about it. So check them out. All right, what was this episode supposed to be about again, Ryan?
The final issue of the Last Ronin comics.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, uh, I don't want this to end, but we're gonna have to get through
Well,
this.
technically it doesn't because we can. There's
Oh
a few spin-offs.
my.
There's a few spin-offs like the
Yeah,
Lost Years, stuff
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
So
No, but this isn't a Ninja Turtles podcast. It's a comic book podcast.
yeah.
So, we may come back later if you guys request and do the Lost Years series, because that's pretty epic.
Well, I think issue 5 just dropped last week or the week before, so I think that's done and dusted too now.
Yeah, I'm just bringing up to see if there's any trivia from this episode.
Trivia: have a box of Kleenex tissues with you. Episode.
Did you know I'm crying? No, no. The only thing it says is that Casey Marie's T-shirt in the final pages is very similar to April's T-shirt in the 2012 series. So they're
Okay.
obviously doing a lot of Easter egg.
Well, I found like during this episode, and I'll mention it when we get during this issue.
Yep.
There was another sort of Easter egg. I don't know if it was meant to be or not, but to me, I was watched, especially after watching that horrible movie yesterday. Reading
Yeah.
through this comic, and I will say one positive thing. I got the DLC free,
Yep.
for the Shredder's Revenge, with Usagi Yumbo, or however you say
Usagi
it.
Yojimbo. Yeah, I love Usagi.
Well, there's actually an extra episode, so I was very happy with that. They did a few extra levels with it, like
Yeah.
So I played it. Oh, that's fantastic! I love that game. That game it had the right amount, and it's got side quests and everything, so it kind
Yeah.
of makes you okay. I'm going to finish it, and I finished it 100%, which I was very happy with. But yeah, the DLC for any fans came out this week.
Yep.
I think it's on PlayStation, Xbox, you name it. So PC, which is where I got it. But yeah, so that I played that yesterday after watching the movie, so it kind of made me feel better.
Yeah.
But yeah, in saying that, basically what I was trying to say, by playing that and watching the movie, there was something in this issue which I thought was kind of like a tribute to a certain character. But I'll mention that when we get to the page.
Yep. And just guys, in case you're curious, we will be doing a review episode on the Mutant Mayhem, as well as a review on One Piece.
Yeah.
But that'll be on our main show with Chris Park. But
Yep.
yeah, it's going to be a great episode because we're going to feel good about something and feel really bad about the other.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Spoiler alert: one's amazing and one's shit. You guess.
Yeah, I know. Unpopular opinion apparently from the way the internet's reacting. But
Yeah.
in one word, One Piece, yay. Mutant Mayhem, nay. And that's all we're going to say about that for now, because we're about to dive into this comic that was. Can you guess who wrote this issue?
The same team as the previous.
And that is
Kevin Eastman, Peter Laird, and that other guy.
Tom Waltz. Come on.
There we go. I was going to say I'll skip back one page because I'm reading it digitally, so I have to click and there's pop-ups. So
Yeah.
yeah.
It's like, did you know? Are you sure you want to read this book?
No, the pop-ups are like, would you like an increased penis size? Yeah, Tom Waltz. There you go.
Yeah.
Script by Tom Waltz and Kevin Eastman. Layout by Kevin Eastman. Inks by Isao and Isaac Escorza. Ben Bishop and Kevin Eastman. There you go.
And the color assistance was by Samuel Plater.
I've always wondered, color assistants. Did you just sit there and watch them color and go, no, that doesn't work?
No. He hands them the pencils to color.
Okay. I suppose we should have asked. What is it? What is an actual? Because I stalk him daily on Instagram because he has so many good pieces. He's like trying to make me even poorer than I am at the moment because every time I see, he's now got his shirts up on their website. I was like, I want all of them.
Yeah, I bought one. I bought one, and it was really hard. I just, you know what? I said I was.
Which one did you get?
The Last Ronin on the rooftop.
Oh, no.
Yes. Now, again, Jamie Johnson is not a sponsor of the show, but we highly recommend supporting him.
He's a top dude. He's a top dude. And you know what? While we're looking, I'm going to bring up his store because he deserves the plug.
Yeah.
Because on this store, he sells his designs on a t-shirt. He sells original artwork.
Yep.
It's so mindlessfashion.com.au.
Yep.
You can go to for the apparel. So they do. He runs it with a friend of his, I believe.
Yeah.
But yeah, his shirts are, and they're pretty reasonable price for the quality of artwork.
Yes.
On there. Yeah, and check out Quick Draw 13, I think it is.
Yes, Instagram. We'll put the link in the show notes for that too.
Yeah. Really nice guy, amazingly talented artist. He's worked for pretty much all the major comic companies, done covers for.
Yeah.
A lot of Turtle stuff as well. So, and he's an even bigger nerd than I am. So that's saying something, So but
if we get him back on, one will be him just showing us his collection.
Yep.
And then we'll go through comic book pages and go, what's this? Like, what's that do?
Well, he just recently got a really awesome digital table set up, which I thought it's Batman themed, which is amazing. So
yeah,
I love that. But yeah, he did well, the reason why we mentioned him here is because he did a cover for the Last Ronin, which was absolutely amazing. So
yeah. Now, more importantly, a correspondence. I'm assuming it's correspondence because it says letters. It was Sean Lee.
Good on you, Sean.
Sean Lee, he wrote letters to the team to encourage them.
Yeah, Jim Lee's son probably, but not really.
I'm probably making all these comic book people cringe because I don't massively know the ins and outs of comic books and all that.
I know writers, I know script writers, I know inkers and artists and colorers. That's it.
Yeah, and there's obviously storyboarding and and edits by Bobby Curnow.
Yeah. Although I don't think there's very much edits on this, he probably would have read it and goes, "Yeah, it's amazing. Just send it to print."
I'm not even going to look at it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Overall thoughts, Ryan. What did you think of this final issue?
Very good, very good. As with all the other issues, it was pretty much action packed. I felt it wrapped up the story nicely, whilst also leaving a few things open, which makes me understand why there's another series called The Lost Years now.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, I thought it was amazing, like just a great end to a really fantastic story.
Yeah. 100%. Like I honestly can see this being animated film, or
Yeah.
like the intensity of spoiler alert, there's going to be a epic battle showdown between Hiroto and Mikey. But like that, I can visually see that animating so well.
All I'm going to say is Seth Rogen, stay the fuck away from this. Pardon my French. You
I,
touch this, I will fly to America myself and I will kick you square in the balls. All right? This is
yeah,
not your.
forte.
No.
Yeah,
Stick to your stoner comedies and we'll still like you, all right?
yeah. Yeah, maybe not. I've
Look,
never been a fan.
I enjoy him in his comedies. Like, don't get me wrong, I really
Yeah,
do. I think he's a good actor for what he's good at.
yeah,
Ninja Turtles is not what he's good at.
yeah,
So, hey, look, he helped create The Boys, and
yeah.
that's a fantastic superhero show.
And
Awesome.
Invincible.
Invincible, yeah, another fantastic.
Yeah,
Turtles is not your thing.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, anyway.
Anyway, let's enough on Seth, and let's
That's next week's podcast.
yes, it is. It's just no, no, no.
It's just a solid 2 hours of us sitting there. And what did you think of Turtles? No, no, no. What do you think of One Piece? Yes, yes, yes,
And then we can ring up. It could be us ringing up, trying to get through to Ryan Reynolds, standing at the
yes,
front of his house with cupcakes,
yes.
like he did for Hugh Jackman, being like, "Please, please, Deadpool, go back in time and stop this
Yes.
film from happening."
Well, one funny thing about One Piece, I love it. It's got on Australian Netflix at the moment. It's like season 1 coming soon. And I said to Steph, "Do you want to watch season 1 of One Piece anime?" And she's like, "Yeah." And I said, "All 752 episodes." It's like, what?
it's actually 1080.
Oh, 1080. Sorry, I skipped the
1082.
prison arc.
Yeah. No. Yeah. All right. Let's
Yeah.
dive into this. What do you reckon?
Yeah, well, I like the first page kind of grabbed me. It's like Michelangelo with about as many band-aids or bandages that you can possibly think would exist from the last battle all over him, and he's in a pondering pose.
Yeah.
I like it. And then he's
Yeah.
obviously having a chat with the voices in his head.
Yeah. And staring at the journal. He's really
Yeah,
focusing on the journal and everyone behind
yeah,
him. Like it's basically his brothers just
yeah,
saying I think I was only in this room once when father was still alive. Looks
yeah,
exactly the same. Just pondering about the room, and he's just like, stop talking.
yeah. And the turtles are basically saying, "You're wasting time. What are you doing? Like
Yeah.
now is the time. You
Yeah.
surprised him at Stockman's lair. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah. Clearly I'm getting the vibe that Mikey's hesitant.
Yeah.
He's being cautious, and
Well, I mean,
Don,
it's going to be the end of his journey. I
yeah,
think that's what he's more cautious about. I don't think he's afraid of
yeah,
Oroku. I think he's just, sorry, Hirotu. I think he's like, what am I going to do after this?
yeah,
This is what I've been doing for the last 10 years or whatever.
yeah. And Don says, "You're the sole survivor, the last of us."
Last of Us. Yeah.
Yeah, the last of us. So he's I can. That's a heavy burden to bear.
Oh, definitely.
Painful too. And then he's like, "Shut up." I just love that Mikey's reactions. It's almost like he's channeling all the personalities
Yep.
from all of his brothers. So certain scenarios he'll act like Raph. Certain scenarios he'll act like Leo. That's sort of trying to live up to who his brothers were.
Yeah, exactly.
Really.
And you can definitely see it. Like he's just. I think he's lashing out in anger because he feels like he knows that if he doesn't finish this, he's going to let them all down.
Yeah. Then he obviously gets the kick and the drive he needs because he's slipping on his armor and he's heading out the door, but not before squiggling something in the journal. He's added. Let's just note he is added to Splinter's journal.
And then you know what that said? It would say, "Don't watch Mutant Mayhem."
It says next. Seth Rogen.
Seth
Seth
Rogen.
Rogen next.
I found my next target.
Oh man, we're gonna piss so many people
All
off.
right, I won't mention it.
Okay.
Mention
Hey,
it
look,
again.
it's funny for you. It's funny for me. I'm holding back and saying the same thing, but I just know there's a lot of people out there that love that movie. But we're not here to
I
talk about that movie.
don't know why, but anyway.
Yeah.
Maybe they all smoked a bit of the wacky tobacco before going in.
Yeah. All right. Look, there's chaos in the streets. People are looting. Casey Marie and the Resistance are working on setting up safe zones and getting comms back on.
Yep.
Now, did you notice a little subtle Star Wars reference in here?
Let me have a look. Let me have a look.
Bottom of the page, middle panel, bottom of the page. And it's
the
in,
high ground.
Yes. Hiroto's still got the high ground. Speaking of Hiroto, Hiroto is screaming. He's angry. He's grabbing people by the throat. It's a very villain thing to do. Get my system back online. Bring me my armor. That sort of thing. And he's done waiting around for Mikey to come to him. He's gonna
get some turtle soup for dinner.
Yes, classic line.
Yeah.
And he says, "I'm going to hunt and kill a mutant."
Yeah.
Maybe a little Craven there too.
Well, what? No, honestly, can I be honest? In now reading all of this, and it might be a character that you're not familiar with, but some of our Marvel listeners will be. A while ago, I think about maybe 5 to 8 years ago, Wolverine had a son named Dakin. It's also reminded when you get to the scene with his armor as well. He used to have 2 metal claws that would come out, and this is I'm getting very Dakin vibes of this incarnation of what we're looking at here. So I think that some of our older Marvel readers will probably agree with me, but he's just hell bent chaos, doesn't care what it costs.
Yeah, 100%. Now this comic jumps around a bit. Like we're flashing for this scenario, that scenario, but now it's flooding in the turtle there is being flooded. And April, being Mrs. Fix It, she can't fix it. She's saying.
Yeah.
And then we have a very interesting conversation between mother and daughter.
Yeah, where she revealed, where Casey reveals she knows that she's a mutant, or what she calls a mutant.
Yep.
She basically saying she said to her mother, "How long have you known?" And when were you ever going to tell me? It's like, I don't know, never. 2 years from now, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, now is not the time to be talking about this kind of stuff. Which I thought was quite good.
Yeah, and Casey obviously is devastated that Mikey ran off without her.
Yeah. I said she's devastated, and I think she's worried as well.
Yeah.
Because
100%.
obviously, if you think of how much death has occurred in this series already, she knows how angry Mikey is, and she knows what he's willing to do to, avenge his brothers or his family.
Yep. And speaking of death, the next couple of pages, and obviously this is it was a smart play because now all the robotics are out of the way, the Singers are out of the way.
Yep.
It's a level playing field for Mikey,
mm-hmm.
and he's attacked the compound yet again.
Yep.
Went a little bit overboard with the explosions.
You reckon?
Well, it was like I need a diversion. He obviously rolled like a 4 or a 5. Wasn't a critical fail. But, it was enough to go, oops, they heard me.
I like how they introduced this page. It says a few borrowed and well placed thermite grenades. And just exploding everywhere. But yeah, that was pretty cool.
The boom. And then Hiroto, obviously, classic comic book art here, where it's just the eyes.
Yep.
Noticed a lot of that in One Piece too.
Yeah, definitely.
Just say.
Definitely. But what I like is the next page where you just see the trail of dead ninjas and dead
Yeah,
you just the typical,
yeah,
you just the casualties of the fight,
yeah,
and yeah, I like
yeah.
that.
Look, sometimes that's more powerful than seeing
Oh, 100%.
what happened.
Yeah. They
Like
do
I'd
it in
rather.
a lot of horror games like that I play, and honestly, it scares the crap out of me more when
Yeah,
you're going down. One game that you will remember that is Metal Gear Solid, the original. When you
yeah,
first meet the Grey Fox, I think it was the cyber,
yeah,
and there's just you're going down hallway after hallway of just dead bodies,
yeah,
and it freaks you out more than just the
yeah,
actual fights themselves.
yeah, yeah, 100%. Um, okay, now
But yeah,
yeah, this starts to play, and this is where I think they got the good idea about the video game they're doing because
yes,
this whole comic feels like video game potential.
definitely.
Um, because again, up the stairs, and what does he meet?
Yep.
Uh,
The as Mikey puts it, this one looks pretty loyal and big as hell too.
it is a huge boss.
Yeah. So he's got a massive sword. It's typical, like he's got the samurai armor,
Yeah,
but also the cybernetics underneath.
yeah.
And Mikey has a bit of fun with this guy.
What does Mikey do? He not only takes down the giant dude with the armor and the giant sword, he uses him as a battering ram to burst in to the into well, let's say boss number 2.
Yeah.
And
I like the ravens here, or the crows. Um, you know how they all sort of come at him,
yeah,
and he's like, and then that's where we find out most from the cybernetics anyway.
yeah. Um, yeah. Do you think that's true? You know that what do they call it? The conspiracy theory, the wacky one
Yeah.
that all birds
The
are
birds. Yeah, well,
are cameras or whatever.
this is just
Um,
going to give more fire to that theory.
yes. Or that, at least I can say it's the crows. Only
Yeah.
crows are because they're far too intelligent. Um. All right. Yeah. Now speaking of crows,
Yep.
he takes out the crows, and now he's fighting another giant robotic winged creature.
Well,
Uh,
this is where I thought, is this like a little homage to Wingnut kind of thing?
could be.
Because
Uh,
it to me it doesn't look like. Oh, I was thinking, okay, like it's the boss of the crows, but to me it looks more like a bat with the
yeah.
wings style than an actual crow. And then he also mentions like he's like old school robotics, so that
Yeah.
also made me think it's maybe a bit of a throwback to Wingnut. I don't know, but
Yeah.
that's
But
just me.
I think it's a reminder that this is the future. It's a reminder that
Yeah.
Stockman gave uh Hiroto all his gear and all his tech and all that sort of stuff. But Mikey quickly takes this thing down
Yeah.
because he's quite a seasoned warrior. He ain't a
And I
teenager.
think he's running on a lot of adrenaline at this point
Yeah,
too as well. So
yeah,
yeah, he has pretty much no issues taking down these guys. And then,
yeah,
as you say, third boss, main boss time.
yeah. Main boss.
Um,
Yeah. He calls out Hiroto. You
mhm.
know, he literally goes, "Come on."
Now, what did you think of his armor?
I like it. Like
I think
it's
it's his own, but it's also got if you look at the headpiece, it's kind of an homage to Shredder.
yeah, obviously.
Um, with and obviously the claws as well, but
Yeah,
just a different version.
yeah,
But this is where I kind of like felt he pushed his status from supervillain to psychopathic supervillain, because we're
yeah,
spending our whole 5 issues thinking that he's keeping his mother alive, because he wants to. I don't know. I just had in my brain that he wanted to bring her back, and he's
yeah,
like, no, like I kept her alive. I kept her alive for spite. You
yeah.
know,
That what a line.
I always hated her. She left me as a child and never returned. I only kept her alive out of spite,
Yeah,
lost and alone in her coffin while I conquered, while I thrived.
yeah. What
And then
what a line.
Mikey just gone, well, you know what? At least she had honor. It's like,
Yeah.
oh,
Oh, burn.
Yeah.
But also, I love this line from Mikey, where he's, "You're wrong. Our bloodline is the shared mutagen that runs through our veins."
Yep. Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, and obviously Hiroto kills his mother,
Yep.
like any sane supervillain does, right? You know, whacks on his helmet and goes, let us begin."
Yeah.
And epic fight, like
Oh,
honestly,
definitely.
and what fight isn't like what good fight isn't accompanied by dialogue while they're fighting? You know,
Oh, of course.
you know,
Of course. But I like his, we find out obviously his armor is self-repairing.
yeah,
Mikey's looking for weak points, and he finally gets
yeah,
a bit of a scratch through to it, and he's like, it just repairs itself. It's
yeah.
crap.
So it's clearly like nanotech
Yeah, nanotech. Yeah.
kind of stuff. Which is, they did nano in the 2003 series. I don't know how far you are into that. Um,
Still on the first season.
yeah, I think that pretty early on there's a robotic trash.
Okay.
It was Trash Man, and he I barely remember the episode, but it was like a nano building robot.
Okay.
And this criminal thief uses it to because it's like a child, it's like nano, but it's a child level.
Yeah.
So he's just like befriending it and using it to help him rob places and stuff like that. It was a really
Yeah.
cool
Okay. Yeah.
episode, but that's back then. This is now. So yeah, epic fight. Mikey is clearly just talking to himself. Okay, I need to find a way. What's his weakness?
Yeah.
Clearly more explosions are weaknesses. Because he starts in the building,
Yep.
and then there's an explosion, and then they're thrown from the building.
Yep.
Explosion is heard from the sewers.
Yeah.
Because Casey's like, is that heard from the sewers? Yeah, no. Rock Bottom's reporting an explosion in Hiroto's towers. Hiroto's tower. So she didn't hear it, but she's caught wind of it.
Yep.
Now there's a conundrum for her that we'll get to a bit later, because now Mikey and Hiroto are fighting on the rooftop while they're falling.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. They're doing the classic, slow motion fighting while they're falling from the top of the building.
Yeah. And then he positions himself correctly. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you want the bad guy under you when you're going to crash into
Yeah.
a water tower. That'll soften your fall a bit. So Mikey's getting cut up pretty bad.
Yeah.
Those blades look pretty freaking fierce on Hiroto's suit.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, okay,
I
so
like
now,
as he's going through, mentioning his brothers.
yeah,
This is a gift from
yes,
This is courtesy of Leonardo. This is courtesy of Raphael.
yeah,
I love that. I love that about a lot of the games, like a movie that I like, they always harken back to the ones you've lost. You
yeah,
know what I mean? And I think there's no better tribute to that. It's just, yeah, I thought
yeah.
it was amazing.
But jumping back half a page, Casey's decided that she's going to go and save Mum,
Yep.
April, not my mum, her mum.
Yeah, she's gonna go save Mrs. Bryden.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So she jumps underwater without any breathing devices or
Yep.
anything. She's going. The water's rising. They've got to fix this pump.
Yep.
Yeah. So nice clean stab from, as you were saying, from Mikey with the scythe through his
Yep.
hand, saying a gift from Raphael. But then, did you notice what he did? Put an EMP in his hand.
Oh yes, I did see that. Yeah, that was
Closed it
good.
shut.
That's from Donatello, I think.
Yeah, he didn't say Donatello, but that's definitely not. Probably came from a prompt he
Yeah.
It is, and clearly this is a Michael Bay comic book because there's another explosion.
Yeah.
And Hiroto is thrown from the rooftop again. I think this is homage to the very first comic, rooftop battles.
I love the rooftop battles.
And originally In the first comic, Shredder was killed by an explosion, not falling from a rooftop into a garbage truck.
Yeah.
Oh, and the sword to the chest with his foot, courtesy of Leonardo.
Yeah, I like that.
Oh yeah, it's a classic Shredder thing. It's a classic Shredder thing. I surrender, kind of,
Yeah, the playing, the fake white flag kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay, you win. Oh look, I'm gonna stab you now.
Yeah.
Brutal, violent stab. Um, and then of course Mikey saying, "Oh, I fell for the oldest trick in the book."
Yeah.
Um, Donatello sends his regard, breaks Donatello's staff on his face, and retreats to the sewer.
I guess that's where I got a little bit confused with the Donatello mention.
Yeah. No, well, because it is jumping around, jumping back and forth.
Yeah.
Okay, so Casey's reached April. April's like, "What are you doing here?" Gives her some oxygen. And then look, Mikey's wielding out his nunchucks again
Yep.
with a smack to the face. I mean, he likes doing the head damage. So April's fixed the water problem. The water is blown or forced out of the sewers.
Yep.
Along with Hiroto and Mikey. They're out in a mud covered sludge fight.
Yeah. I don't think it's mud, but let's go with that.
No, well, they talked about this in the book one, that it's like basically pollution.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Yeah.
Like all the water's polluted. I mean, it could be poop,
I thought it was poop.
Yeah. Well, it does look sewagey. Would you avenge the death of someone in your family, Ryan, if you had to fight them in sludge?
If I had to, yes.
Yeah,
of course.
You wouldn't go, "I will get you, but I'm not going in there."
Not in poop.
Not in poop. Yeah, nah, I can just see this in a movie, this scene.
Yeah.
Fighting in the sludge. He's pulled out the fists, punching.
Yep.
Hiroto says, "I am God."
Yeah, as you do.
I am immortal.
Yep.
And then blows up.
Yeah.
Obviously, the suit short circuits.
No, but I like Mike. I like Mikey's his little little speech before that when he's like, "You're wrong, Hiroto. I'm going to bury you here. This mud hole will be your grave. Broken and alone outside the city you tried to destroy, forever forgotten."
Yeah.
And then I thought that's pretty cool. And then bang, off he goes.
Face first in poop.
Yep.
And then Mikey perfectly says,
Some
god. Yeah. Beautiful. Bleeding out. Casey Murray finds him because again we missed it back a couple of pages. April says that they put a tracker in him.
Yep.
So they can find him. Heartbreaking, gut-wrenching moment.
Yeah.
Casey Marie is handed Splinter's journal.
Yep.
Take the my father's journal, left it for you. It will teach you all he knew. But last lesson is mine. Most important of all. No peace.
Yeah.
That's gut-wrenching. And then, of course...
Well, they always say there's a famous saying from hundreds and hundreds of years ago, when you set out on revenge, always dig 2 graves.
Yeah.
And, this is essentially the epitome of that. I think Mikey always knew that this was going to, I think that's what he wanted, so to speak. Like, obviously, you go back to issue 1 where he was, going to commit seppuku.
Yeah.
I think he knew that once this was over, it was going to take him too.
Yeah.
And he wanted to be reunited with his brothers and his father.
Yeah. And that's exactly what happens on the next page.
Yeah.
Turtle Heaven.
Yep.
Which looks hauntingly like New York City. but in the early days, in the style of the early IDW
Yeah.
series.
That's
Everyone's
the feeling that I got, you know, when I
yeah,
started reading when I read these pages, I was like, yeah. It's like the maybe the second volume
yeah,
of that one. Yeah. So that was pretty cool.
yeah. Yeah, Casey's there, all the turtles, Splinter,
Yeah.
back together. They're talking about, sewer odors. Sewer
Yeah.
odor and again poop. Talking about poop. Are we talking about poop? Um,
But yeah, that was I look, I expected it, but I didn't expect it kind of thing.
yeah,
Like I knew that was how it's probably going to play out. But it's like any good movie or any good game or whatever. You're still hoping
yeah,
that he's going to make it. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
And then obviously there is a thing called an epilogue,
Hmm.
um, where Casey's training, reading through the book, um, Wick's into the lab, and what does she find in the lab apart from April?
She finds a little bowl of turtles.
Soup, soup. No, turtles.
4 turtles,
Yes,
not turtle soup.
yeah,
And I love it. It's just like, hurry up and grow up already. I've got so much cool stuff to teach you.
yes. They're mutating
Hmm.
4 new turtles because if you lose all your friends,
Yep.
you can always replace them.
Just make them. Make some new
Make
ones.
new ones. No, and of course to be continued to seal off the deal.
Yeah.
That's
But
awesome.
I think that, like, I was worried, like, well, how the hell are they gonna how are they gonna get into, like, how do we have a season 2, like a Lost Years and stuff, and then obviously
Yeah,
this explains
yeah. Well,
how.
Lost Years is like a sequel prequel, so
Yeah.
it operates much like Stephen Amell's Arrow.
Yep.
So it's the future and the past at the same time.
Yeah.
Uh, you know. But look, no, Lost Years is great.
Well, at least now that we're not reviewing it yet,
Yeah,
I can read it
yeah,
now.
yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So, guys, please let us know your thoughts of the Last Ronin.
Mhm.
Send us an email to thetrueandthefictional@gmail.com or reach out on stories_podcast. I absolutely love this comic book. It's one of the greatest ones I've read in a very long time.
Mhm.
But next time we decided, didn't we? We're going to
Yes.
reading. Is it Craven's Last Hunt?
Yeah. Spider-Man Craven's Last Hunt.
That's what we're going to be diving into next time.
It's topical with the game and the movie.
Game coming out. Oh,
The game I thought was out this month, but it's actually out next month. So
isn't it end of the
no,
month?
I actually went to PlayStation pre-order. Not that I was going to pre-order it straight away, but it said 20th of October.
Oh no, I gotta wait even
I
longer.
know. I
Oh,
know. And that was my fault because I said September, but yeah, 20th of October, because I've just finished playing Miles Morales again,
yeah,
which is another solid story. And,
yeah,
you know, yeah, so well, look, it gives me a little bit more time to finish Baldur's Gate,
yeah,
and a few other things I'm working on. But yeah, so but look, by the time it comes out, we may very well be almost finished Craven's Last Hunt, so it's going to be super topical. So
yeah. Either way, and I'll be in the mood for it. Like
yeah,
I think they said it's 100 gig to install it.
yeah,
So it's a
massive,
big game. Oh, I'm gonna be taking
massive.
some time off work to play that one.
Save your RDOs for that.
I will. I will.
Yeah.
Um,
So, I'm looking forward to that. The first game you get to play as Peter and Miles in the same
yeah,
game, which is kind of cool. I'm watching the gameplay trailers,
yeah,
splitting between one, and that's pretty
yeah.
pretty awesome.
They did that. They did that in the Ninja Turtle game that came out about 10 years ago.
Okay.
Where all 4 turtles fighting at the same time. You could switch between them at any point,
Oh, nice.
and they
I
all
like
have
that.
certain finishing moves,
Mhm.
co-op. What do you call it? Moves like
Yeah.
where they use each
Oh,
other.
yeah, yeah, I get you.
You know,
Yeah. Oh, nice. What game was that?
Out of the Shadows. I think it was.
Out of the Shadows.
It
Okay.
was. There's no. It was straight off the store.
Okay.
PlayStation. It was PS3. So PS3 store or Xbox store. Apparently, it came out on Xbox first, and it was really buggy, and people hated it. And then it came out on PS3 when everything was fixed.
Nice.
I've still got it on my hard drive. It's so good.
Oh,
You
awesome.
had side scrolling mode.
Hmm.
So they had the option to go through old school style. They had, what's the one where it's just you go until you until you die.
Oh yeah, like kind of like a
Yeah.
I forget what it's called, but yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. They had that, and then they had the main story. The only problem was it was very short,
Was it? Okay.
ridiculously short. I think you could finish it in one sitting.
Okay.
But
I felt like that with Shredder's Revenge, like with the one
yeah,
sitting thing for me. I think it was like 2 and a bit hours,
yeah, I did
and,
the
and
same
I
thing.
finished it. But that was I still really enjoyed that. So it's just I'm happy to give anything like that a go.
Yeah, and it's always fun multiplayer. Like
Yeah, definitely.
one screen, sitting down with your friends, just playing through an awesome game.
Excellent.
All right, guys, thank you for listening. I'm not sure how long this one went for, but it could have
A
been
little
more
bit
than,
longer, I think, but
a little bit
doesn't
longer.
matter.
But it's the final of the Last Ronin, so we had to do it. Had a little bit of news to share as well. But yeah, thanks again for listening. If you want to be a sponsor, head on over to buymeacoffee.com/STTTF, something like that. I'll put the link in the show notes. Send us an email to thetrueandthefictional@gmail.com. Reach out on Instagram, stories_podcast. We'd love to hear from you, and we'll catch you next time.
See you next time.